Welcome friends to a new session on genomics and proteomics. In this session, we will discuss genetic and physical mapping, long range and global physical mapping, integration of genetic and physical maps. Genetic and physical mapping. Gene mapping describes the methods used to identify the locus of a gene and the distances between genes. Genes can be viewed as one special type of genetic markers in the construction of genome maps and map the same way as any other markers. Molecular mapping can be of following two types: genetic maps and physical maps. Both genetic and physical maps provide the likely order of items along a chromosome. Genetic map serves to guide a scientist toward a gene, just like an interstate map guides a driver from city to city. Physical maps mark an estimate of the true distance in measurements called base pairs. Therefore, allow scientists to more easily home in on the location of a gene. Genetic and physical maps illustrate the arrangement of genes and DNA markers on a chromosome. The relative distances between positions on a genetic map are calculated using recombination frequencies, whereas a physical map is based on the actual number of nucleotide pairs between loci. These maps are key source for understanding genome organization. It is a critical step in identifying the genes involved in a genetic disease. Once a disease gene is accurately located, we can determine its DNA sequence and study its protein product. For example, cystic fibrosis is the most common lethal inherited disease in the United States. As many as 1 in 2,500 Americans of Northern European descent carry a gene with CF. In 1985, the gene was mapped to chromosome 7q31 to q32 by linkage analysis. 4 years later, its DNA sequence was determined by Francis Collins and colleagues. Now, we know that the disease is caused by the defect of a chloride channel encoded by the CFTR gene. Genetic mapping. Genetic mapping is the process of determining the order of and relative distance between genetic markers, specific sequences or heritable elements that generate phenotype on a chromosome based on their pattern of inheritance. Genetic mapping in bacteria relies on chromosome transfer between cells. Genetic maps have been used successfully to find the gene responsible for relatively rare single gene inherited disorders such as cystic fibrosis and Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Genetic maps are also useful in guiding scientists to the many genes that are believed to play a role in the development of more common disorders such as asthma, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and psychiatric conditions. Mapping also provides clues about which chromosome contains the gene and precisely where the gene lies on that chromosome. The basis of genetic mapping: linkage analysis. Genetic linkage analysis is a powerful tool to detect the chromosomal location of a diseased genes. It is based on the observation that genes that reside physically close on a chromosome remain linked during meiosis. The principles of inheritance and discovery of linkage. Genetic mapping is based on the principles of inheritance as first described by Gregor Mendel in 1865. From the results of breeding experiments with peas, Pisum sativum, Mendel concluded that each pea plant possesses 2 alleles for each gene, but displays only one phenotype. If the plant is homozygous for a particular characteristic, as it then possesses 2 identical alleles and displays the appropriate phenotype. However, Mendel showed that if 2 pure breeding plants with different phenotypes are crossed, then all the progeny, the F1 generation, display the same phenotype. These F1 plants must be heterozygous, meaning that they possess 2 different alleles, one for each phenotype. One allele inherited from the mother and one from the father. Mendel postulated that in this heterozygous condition, one allele overrides the effect of the other allele. Mendel described the phenotype expressed in the F1 plant as being dominant over the second recessive phenotype. This is the perfectly correct interpretation of the interaction between the pairs of alleles studied by Mendel. One of these is incomplete dominance, where the heterozygous phenotype is intermediate between the two homozygous forms. An example is when red carnations are crossed with white ones, the F1 heterozygotes being pink. Another complication is codominance, when both alleles are detectable in the heterozygote. Codominance is the typical situation for DNA markers. After the discovery of dominance and recessiveness, Mendel carried out additional crosses that enable to establish two laws of genetics. The first law states that alleles segregate randomly. In other words, if the parents' allele are capital A and small a, then a member of the F1 generation has the same chance of inheriting capital A as it has of inheriting small a. The second law is that pairs of alleles segregate independently, so that inheritance of the alleles of gene capital A is independent of inheritance of the alleles of gene capital B. Because of these laws, the outcomes of genetic crosses are predictable. When Mendel's work was rediscovered in 1900s, it established that genes reside on chromosomes and all organisms have many more genes than chromosomes. Chromosomes are inherited as intact units, so that the alleles of some pairs of genes will be inherited together because they are on the same chromosome. This is the principle of genetic linkage. The complete linkage between many pairs of genes failed to materialize. Pairs of genes were either inherited independently as expected for genes in different chromosomes, or if they showed linkage, then it was only partial linkage. Sometimes they were inherited together and sometimes they were not. This contradiction between theory and observation was the critical step in the development of genetic mapping techniques. Partial linkage is explained by the behavior of chromosomes during meiosis. Thomas Hunt Morgan made the conceptual leap between partial linkage and the behavior of chromosomes when the nucleus of a cell divides. There are two types of nuclear division, mitosis and meiosis. In mitosis, the diploid nucleus of a somatic cell divides to produce two daughter nuclei, both of which are diploid. During a human lifetime, approximately 10 raised to 17 mitoses are needed. Before mitosis begins, each chromosome in the nucleus is replicated, but the resulting daughter chromosomes do not immediately break away from one another. To begin with, they remain attached at their centromeres and by cohesin proteins which acts as molecular glue holding together the arms of the replicated chromosomes. The daughter cells do not separate until later in mitosis, when the chromosomes are distributed between the two new nuclei and each of the new nuclei receives a complete set of chromosomes. During interphase, the chromosomes are in their extended form. At the prophase, each chromosome has already undergone DNA replication, but the two daughter chromosomes are held together by the centromere. During metaphase, the nuclear membrane breaks down and the chromosomes line up in the center of the cell. Microtubules now draw the daughter chromosome towards either end of the cell. In telophase, nuclear membranes reform around each collection of daughter chromosome. The result is that the parent nucleus has given rise to two identical daughter nuclei. Mitosis illustrates the basic events occurring during nuclear division, but is not directly relevant to genetic mapping. Meiosis occurs only in reproductive cells and results in a diploid cell giving rise to 4 haploid gametes, each of which can subsequently fuse with a gamete of the opposite sex during sexual reproduction. The important distinction is meiosis involves two nuclear division, one after the other, whereas mitosis is just a single nuclear division. During mitosis, homologous chromosomes remain separate from one another, each member of the pair replicating and being passed to a daughter nucleus independently of its homologue. In meiosis, however, the pairs of homologous chromosomes are by no means independent. During meiosis 1, each chromosome lines up with its homologue to form a bivalent. This occurs after each chromosome has replicated, but before the replicated structures split, so the bivalent in fact contains 4 chromosome copies, each of which is destined to find its way into one of the 4 gametes that will be produced at the end of the meiosis. Within the bivalent, the chromosome arms or the chromatids can undergo physical breakage and exchange of segments of DNA. The process is called crossing over or recombination and was discovered by Janssens in 1909. How did the discovery of crossing over help Morgan explain partial linkage? To understand this, we need to think about the effect that crossing over can have on the inheritance of genes. Let us consider 2 genes, each of which has 2 alleles. We will call the first gene capital A and its alleles capital A and small a, and the second gene B with the alleles capital B and small b. Imagine that the 2 genes are located on chromosome number 2 of Drosophila melanogaster, the species of fruit fly studied by Morgan. We are going to follow the meiosis of a diploid nucleus in which one copy of chromosome 2 has alleles capital A and capital B and the second has a small a and small b. Consider the 2 alternative scenarios. From partial linkage to genetic mapping. Once Morgan had understood how partial linkage could be explained by crossing over during meiosis, he was able to devise a way of mapping the relative positions of genes on a chromosome. In fact, the most important work was done not by Morgan himself, but by an undergraduate in laboratory, Arthur Sturtevant. Sturtevant assumed that crossing over was a random event, there being an equal chance of it occurring at any position along a pair of lined up chromatids. If this assumption is correct, then 2 genes that are close together will be separated by crossovers less frequently than 2 genes that are more distant from one another. Furthermore, the frequency with which the genes are unlinked by crossovers will be directly proportional to how far apart they are on their chromosome. The recombination frequency is therefore a measure of the distance between 2 genes. Comparisons between genetic maps and the actual position of genes on DNA molecules as revealed by physical mapping and DNA sequencing have shown that some regions of chromosomes called recombination hotspots are more likely to be involved in crossovers than others. This means that a genetic map distance does not necessarily indicate the physical distance between 2 markers. Also, a single chromatid can participate in more than one crossover at the same time, but that there are limitations on how close together these crossovers can be, leading to more inaccuracies in the mapping procedure. Linkage analysis usually makes correct deductions about gene order and distance. Estimates are sufficiently accurate to generate genetic maps that are of value as frameworks for genome sequencing projects. Basic steps in gene mapping. In brief, the main steps needed to perform a successful study are: first, phenotype definition. The first step is to define the phenotype that you are going to map. In this step, one must define the clinical parameters and determine and decide what clinical data to collect. It is important to decide what type of analysis to perform, whether it is qualitative or quantitative. In a qualitative type of analysis, the assumption is that of whether or not one has the disease or not. On the other hand, in a quantitative type of analysis, one measures BMD. Second, determine that the trait has a genetic component. Third, develop an experimental design, and fourth, ascertain families. One must decide what type of families to recruit, whether to recruit SIP pairs, extended families, etc. Fifth, collection of biological samples and genotyping. Collection of samples for DNA extraction and genotyping using standard sets of polymorphic markers across the whole genome. Sixth, analysis of data. Parametric or LOD score and or non-parametric analysis of genotypic data. Seventh, identification of genomic regions of interest and retesting of these regions. Eighth, fine mapping of genomic regions to identify the critical region. This can be done in 2 ways, either to increase the saturation of genotyping of the region or analyze the data for linkage and association, or by examining the region of interest for genes that might have a biological function related to the trait. Ninth step, identification of physical map and gene identification. Gene mapping by human pedigree analysis. It is impossible to pre-select the genotypes of parents and set up crosses in humans specifically for mapping purposes. By examining the genotypes of the members of successive generations of existing families, the limited data for the calculation of recombination frequencies have to be obtained. Their interpretation is often difficult because a human marriage rarely results in a convenient test cross, and often the genotypes of one or more family members are unobtainable because those individuals are dead or unwilling to cooperate. For example, we are studying a genetic disease present in a family of 2 parents and 6 children. Genetic diseases are frequently used as gene markers in humans, the disease state being one allele and the healthy state being a second allele. The pedigree following shows that the mother is affected by the disease, as are 4 of her children. The maternal grandmother also suffered from this disease, but both she and her husband, the maternal grandfather, are now dead. We cannot obtain any further information on their genotypes, but we can include them in the pedigree with slashes indicating that they are dead. For mapping the position of the gene for the genetic disease, we have to study its linkage to a microsatellite marker capital M, 4 alleles M1, M2, M3 and M4 which are present in the living family members. The pedigree shows inheritance of a genetic disease in a family of 2 living parents and 6 children with information about the maternal grandparents available from family records. The disease allele or closed symbols is dominant over the healthy allele or open symbols. The objective is to determine the degree of linkage between the diseased gene and a microsatellite capital M by typing the alleles for this microsatellite M1, M2, etc. in living members of the family. The pedigree can be interpreted in 2 different ways. Hypothesis 1 gives a low recombination frequency and indicates that the diseased gene is tightly linked to microsatellite capital M. Hypothesis 2 suggests that the gene and microsatellite are much less closely linked. The issue is resolved by the reappearance of the maternal grandmother, whose microsatellite genotype is consistent only with hypothesis 1. Genetic mapping in bacteria. The final type of genetic mapping is the strategy used with bacteria. The main difficulty that geneticists faced when trying to develop genetic mapping techniques for bacteria is that these organisms are normally haploid and so do not undergo meiosis. Some other way therefore had to be devised to induce crossover between homologous segments of bacterial DNA. They use 3 natural methods for transferring pieces of DNA from one bacterium to another. In conjugation, the transfer of chromosomal or plasmid DNA up to 1 megabase in length from the donor bacterium to the recipient takes place through physical contact between the 2 bacteria through a narrow tube called the pilus. The later is called episome transfer. Transduction is the transfer of a small segment of the donor cell's DNA up to 50 kilobase via a bacteriophage. Transformation is similar to transduction, but naked DNA longer than 50 kilobase is transferred. After transfer, a double crossover must occur so that the DNA from the donor bacterium is integrated into the recipient's cell's chromosome. If this does not occur, then the transferred DNA is lost when the recipient cell divides. The only exception is after episome transfer, plasmids being able to propagate independently of the host chromosome. The precise details of the mapping procedure depend on the type of gene transfer that is being used. In conjugation mapping, the donor DNA is transferred as a continuous thread into the recipient and gene positions are mapped by timing the entry of the wild type alleles into the recipient. For example, the transfer of a functional gene for tryptophan biosynthesis from a wild type bacterium, genotype described as TRP plus, to a recipient that lacks a functional copy of this gene called TRP minus, the recipient is called a tryptophan auxotroph, a mutant bacterium that can survive only if provided with a nutrient, in this case tryptophan. After transfer, two crossovers are needed to integrate the transferred gene into the recipient cell's chromosome, converting the recipient from TRP- to TRP+. DNA is transferred from donor to recipient in the same way that a string is pulled through a tube during conjugation. The relative positions of markers on the DNA molecule can therefore be mapped by determining the times at which the markers appear in the recipient cell. The markers A, B and C are transferred 8, 20 and 30 minutes after the beginning of conjugation respectively. The entire Escherichia coli chromosome takes approximately 100 minutes to transfer. To be co-transferred during transduction and transformation, two or more markers must be closely linked because these processes usually result in less than 50 kilobase of DNA being passed from donor to recipient. Transduction and transformation mapping are used to determine the relative positions of markers that are too close together to be mapped precisely by conjugation analysis. Let us summarize the following discussion on genetic mapping. Genome mapping is the process of finding the location of genes on each chromosome and is a critical step in identifying the genes involved in a genetic disease. Genetic linkage analysis is a powerful tool to detect the chromosomal location of diseased gene. There are two types of genome mapping. Genetic mapping uses linkage analysis to determine the relative position between two genes on a chromosome, and physical mapping uses all available techniques or information to determine the absolute position of a gene on a chromosome. Genetic maps have been used successfully to find the gene responsible for relatively rare single gene inherited disorders such as cystic fibrosis and Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Before we attend the next session, please try to answer the following questions. First, write an overview on genome mapping. Second, what defines an episome transfer? Discuss the principles of inheritance and the discovery of linkage. Fourth, discuss the effect of crossover on linked genes. Fifth, discuss the gene mapping process in bacteria. Here I can suggest some books for your further studies. Introduction to Bioinformatics by Atwood and Parry Smith, Pearson Education. Bioinformatics, a beginner's guide by Jean Michael Claverie, John Wiley and Sons. Structural Bioinformatics by Philip A. Bourne and Helgi Wiesing, Wiley. Bioinformatics Methods and Applications, Rastogi. Hope this session was useful to you. See you in the next session. Thank you.